Hey, Orion here. I've been podcasting for over 4 years now. 4 years. I started a bit unsure and insecure, but I am so much better and I'm a different woman today. I learned and grew so much. I grew as a person and I grew as a podcast host. And I had the privilege of talking with incredible people I never even imagined I can even reach. But regardless of how famous or not famous my guest is, sometimes you have a special conversation. One that is so stellar, you remember it even 4 years later. Welcome to Stellar Conversations. This is one of my absolute favorite episodes, and it will light up your day.
Welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. Get inspired and live out loud. From love, freedom, and success to having it all. Here's your host, coach, speaker, and shining star, Orion.
Roger, you're looking good.
Hello and welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. I'm your host, Orion, founder of Orion's Method. My guest today is a beautiful soul. She's beautiful from the inside out. She's a global transformational leader, celebrity coach, speaker, and best-selling author. She moved to the United States from Colombia with her suitcase full of dreams and her belly filled with her twin babies. After a painful divorce, she was determined to create a successful, happy life for herself and her family, but had no idea how to do so. Shortly after arriving to the USA, within just 10 months, she was able to reach over 40 million people with her message of transformation. She has dedicated herself to empowering people to find, live, and share their life's purpose. In this episode, you will learn how to separate yourself from your ego, how to make your ego your friend, and express your true self, express your essence, allow yourself to be seen, playful out, and make a lot of money while doing it. So I hope you will enjoy this episode as much as I did. She is just a trailblazer and a ball of fire. And now, on to the show.
2, 1, 0.
Hello, Karen, and welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm excellent, my dear Ryan. Thank you so much for having me with you in this amazing radio show. I can't wait. This is exciting. I'm so happy to be with you.
I can't wait because I know that after listening to you for the duration of the show, I'm going to be so inspired. It's going to make my day for sure. I'm doing this interview for me, okay?
Great. All right. Great deal.
Okay, cool. So let's start by you sharing a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? I know who are you is a big question that we can get into later, but on the basic social level.
Excellent, my dear. Thank you so much for asking. I'm a transformational coach, international speaker, and a facilitator for transformation. I have been doing this for over 10 years with more than 26,000 graduates of my seminars in this decade. I'm very excited about traveling around the world and sharing a message of inspiration, purpose, transformation for people from all backgrounds and all different beliefs. I am originally from Colombia. That's where my accent comes from. And I have been living in New York, United States, in New York, in the Big Apple, for now about 14 years. I'm a mother of twin boys, and I'm just happy and excited to be here with you and always ready to share our message with the audience that is ready to transform their life.
Amazing. I lived in New York for a decade myself. I love New York.
Yes. Who doesn't, right? New York is magical. It's just a powerful city and a great place to grow. It's a very special place to be.
Yeah, it's very energetic like you.
Yes, love.
So I want to start with talking a little bit about the ego. What is the ego?
Excellent. I love that topic because during our trainings and coaching sessions, the first thing I do is to really bring people present of who they really are. So the ego is the opposite of who we really are, is what we call our false self. There is a great book about this called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, or The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He has a great way to share and explain to people what the impact of our ego is. A lot of people think that the ego is a person who is like arrogant or thinks is better than others, but it's not really that. The ego is who we think we are in our mind, is our false identity, is that part of us that is designed to keep us apart, to keep us separate. It's also designed to keep us safe, quote unquote, safe in our comfort zone. Because if we think we are a certain way, we're never open to who we really are in our essence, and it doesn't allow us to connect with other people. Who we are is God in essence. Who we are is that vibration of love that is within every one of us. So within our inner self, we are all the same. We are one, but we forget that in our mind. Our ego tells us that we are our past, or what we have in the present, or our experience and our beliefs. All of that is very valuable, but it's not who we really are. So the ego is there to remind us, actually as a tool, who we really are, because every time we understand that we're not being our ego, that we're not it, we have access to be present who we really are in essence, which is God.
Yeah, the moment we start to characterize ourselves or others, we are locking the possibilities. Because if we are X and Y and that's it, then we cannot be anything else.
Exactly.
Our internal conversation with ourselves and the way we see ourselves and the way we see others, and the moment we see ourselves and others as pure possibilities, then we have pure possibilities.
Exactly. It's very limiting to describe ourselves as the labels of the mind. The moment we said we are this, we are not that, we are limiting and ourselves to the impact that we can do and create on this planet. When we recognize that we are God in essence, that we have no limitations in essence, that we are all one in essence, and then we can choose our labels. I can choose the label of coach, a speaker, mother, woman, but they don't define me. I choose them to play in this wonderful world, right? To play in this illusion, like Hinduism call it Maya, and we can have an experience of being human in this planet without getting lost in that experience.
Mm-hmm. It's about I experience anger, or I experience resentment, or I experience this in comparison to I am angry, I am resentful.
Exactly.
The word experience and seeing it from a place of the observer will allow a space, will allow, again, the space of possibility.
Yes.
This is a friendly reminder for you to visit www.stellarlifepodcast.com for show notes and information about this awesome show. Check out our Facebook group, Stellar Life. Sorry, boys, this is for women only. And get all information, including a checklist full of tips from the show, at www.stellarlifepodcast.com. And if you're enjoying yourself, please subscribe and review. And now, back to the show. When was the first time you felt you were pure possibility?
I believe that in our life we have glimpse of being fully present without even understanding that that is what is happening, right? My experiences of being present, I had them since I was very little. I used to connect with God in many different ways, connect with nature, and have this sense of knowingness that everything is okay. It's like the knowingness that no matter what happened, God is within me. God is with me. That was an experience. It didn't have any meaning in my mind. I was just fully experiencing that glimpse of moments, certain moments. When I found my purpose after almost dying, because I experienced domestic violence before I awakened to my purpose, when I was there with a gun pointing to my head, I remember also being fully present with God and asking for an opportunity to live. At that moment, it was another experience of being present. At that moment when I knew that I could die, that was another experience of that pure love to connection to God and faith and knowingness that if he was going to give me a life here was for a purpose. And if I was already living, that was for a purpose too. So that was, even though it was a very dark moment for the mind, it was a pure moment of presence. And after that, I start studying and understanding, reflecting, learning from masters, and start meditating and start exploring really not only the knowledge of being present and the knowledge of essence and possibility, but also understanding in the awareness of my life through meditation, through connection, through actions, and through changing my own habits and my own way of living. I start cleaning my life, taking full responsibility for it, connecting to the people around me. I start to see people, see beyond what my mind was telling me to see, and really experience being alive. All of that allow me to have a different experience of life, allow me to connect to myself in a different way, not to the ego self, but to the essence self. And then through seminars and coaching, every time I coach, I speak, now I just welcome God. I said, God, you speak through me, you act through me, you think through me. And at that moment, boom, there is essence, there is presence, there is possibility. So it becomes now more often. And when I forget, because sometimes I go into my ego and I forget, I have many tools that I teach that allow people to come back to that present moment and continue serving, because only when we are fully present, we can really serve.
That's beautiful. I cannot imagine a moment where somebody's pointing a gun to my head. And I myself experienced domestic violence, and I end up in a hospital bed after being in an abusive relationship. And for me, it's interesting. I did not feel it. It wasn't like, oh God, I'm surrendering to you. It for me, I wish I had that beautiful moment. But it was, for me, it was a sequence of moments. And actually, I think a period of 2 years of me trying to mend the broken pieces and find really who I am and going on. I was always into self-development. When I was young, my mom gave me Louise Hay book, You Can Heal Your Life, and The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, which are two books that really influenced my life. And until that happened, I was not able to really seek or had the desire to seek who I am, what is life, what is possible, and what can I do to lift myself up? So it was my greatest gift. Looking back, my greatest gift, what brought me to be a coach, what brought me to be able to relate to people on a different level. It's like a gift with the bow on the bottom, where only years later you can see that it's a gift and you can open it. So how did that moment of pure God, of pure surrender, shift your life after that?
Yes, it is also important, my dear, to recognize that the gift of awakening comes to us in different ways, and people will receive it in many different forms, and there is not a way to awake. Many people will awake through suffering, through pain. Other people will awake through joy and through understanding of the love and light that is around us. It's different for each person. Part of my work today is to help people evolve without suffering. Before, I didn't know I had an option not to suffer. I thought evolution was through pain. That's what I learned. That's what I read, that it is through pain that we can be closer to God, that it is through suffering that we can awaken. And I understood that is a way. That is a way to recognize, to be aware. But it's not the only way.
No.
We can choose to evolve through consciousnness, and that happens when we are 100% responsible for everything that happens to us. The moment I learn, and there is an education that made a big difference in my life that I studied about 12 years ago when I was starting this journey. It's called landmark education.
Yeah, I studied landmark too, yes.
Yes, and it was great. I remember at that moment, it was the first time that I heard about being responsible, taking responsibility for my life, because before that, I was like a victim, right? They did this to me. I have to forgive them. because they did this. So it was all like the spiritual ego thinking that I have to forgive somebody else because they did something to me. When I learned about responsibility and with the years, another practice of meditation, self-observing, and awareness, congruency, cleaning up, all of those things allow me to understand that more responsible and more present I am, that everything that I have created is part of the plan for my awakening and for my evolution, more tools I had to evolve without suffering, to not to get caught in the illusion of the ego, because it's very easy for us to get lost in the mind, especially when we are so busy in social media, in our phones and everything that is happening. And it's always so much a stimulation for the mind that we can get lost in that world. So more responsible we are and more we understand that everything that happens in our life is our own creation, and that we can choose to awaken and to evolve in a conscious way is easier. And the experience of God versus the knowledge of God, like I believe in God versus I experience God, two things that are totally different. I have met people, even that are pastors, even that dedicate their life in churches to guide people, that their experience of God is one of separation. I believe that once we are present, that nobody's punishing us, nobody's doing anything to us. We are co-creating our destiny. We are evolving either consciously or unconsciously, and we have the power to share this experience with the world. We have the power to transform the experience from one of suffering to one of love. And then at that moment, we realize that, oh, wow, God is within me. I am God. There is nothing separated from me. I am one with everything. Now let me have fun and create something different in my life today. So that way I can help other people through my purpose as well.
It's beautiful. What is your definition of responsibility? What responsibility is and what is it not?
Sure. When I mean by being responsible, taking responsibility is owning 100% everything that happened in my life as something that I create, I manifested. Understanding that there is nobody out there doing anything to me. That if something happened that I like or I didn't like, I created that consciously or unconsciously. Maybe I wasn't aware that I was creating that, but that doesn't mean that I'm not responsible, that I don't own those results. The moment that I own everything that happened in my life, everything, every single piece, that moment I am free to change it. Mm-hmm. If I am not responsible, if I don't own that I created these results, and then I become a victim of my circumstances and I'm not free to change them. Actually, what I do is duplicate that, is perpetuate that circumstances, because I mean that I'm resisting the gift, that I'm not receiving the lesson that I am manifesting through the experience. So the moment I say, oh, this happened, okay, I wasn't expecting that, I wasn't looking for this result, but I did that unconsciously or consciously. I did that. Okay, God, show me what is the lesson, what is the gift. I receive it. I don't resist it. I don't blame. I don't make other people wrong. I don't make myself wrong. I don't feel guilt. I don't judge other people. I get it. I own this as a gift. Let me look for the lesson. Let me look for what I can take from it and then release and move forward. Because the moment I resist that what is happening shouldn't be happening, shouldn't be, in my life, that this person shouldn't be doing this. The moment I reject what is so, I will continue perpetuating more of that until I surrender to the gift.
It's about have everything that you have. So it's about accepting where you are. It's about allowing whatever is to be. And when you allow it, you can get over it. Because the only way to reach your goals is through your emotions, through the pain. It's about experiencing your emotions to the fullest, not allowing them to rule your life, but allow yourself to experience them, and then you can be free from them. Is that true?
Sure. I mean, it is one way, Orion, to do that. It is one way to say, okay, I'm going to fully experience sadness. Mm-hmm. I'm going to fully experience suffering. I'm going to fully experience pain. That is one way, right? Now, there is another way, and say, okay, I'm observing. I have these emotions of sadness. because my mind is giving a meaning to what is happening. See, we don't just get sad because, right? There is something that the mind is given as a meaning to an experience, to something, whatever it is. The mind is saying X, Y, and Z. That's why you have to be sad. And then you start being sad. And at that moment, you can say, okay, I'm going to fully experience the sadness of my mind. Or stop for a moment and say, wait, where is that sadness coming from? Is it coming from my essence? It's coming from my mind. Okay, from my mind. What is the meaning that my mind is giving to what that allows me to experience this sadness? Now, am I choosing sadness? Or maybe, okay, I got it. I was sad. I was unconscious. I get it. Now I'm going to give a different meaning to this thing. Somebody did something that you didn't like. Somebody said something that you didn't like. Whatever, right? Something happened. And then you can say, okay, I choose to give a different meaning to this. And for that, I need support around me. That's why it's so important to be surrounded by people that lift you up, that listening to your greatness, that they won't get lost in sadness with you, because many people think that loving someone is suffering with them. No. It's like actually it's all the opposite. It's the meaning of being there for that person and remind them who they really are. That's what I have around me. When my ego wants to take over for whatever reason, and then I start listening to my ego, I start changing my energy, I lower my vibration because I'm listening to what my mind is saying. I have my mother who's a life coach. I have friends. I have even my kids. They remind me, hey, mommy, you are in your ego. You are being unconscious. You're not being you. And then, oh my God, yes, let's do it. Let's get out of this. And then I myself, I chose long time ago not to dwell in that sadness, not to it's like when you fall down and then there is mud there, and then you're like, oh, in the mud, more time in the mud. Okay, no, you fall down, fine. Now get up, clean, and move forward. How long you stay in the ground with the mud is your choice. So I teach, it's okay if you fall down. It's okay if you are in the mud. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad or falling down or feeling that way. How long are you going to be there? Mm-hmm. How long it takes you to get up and clean and move? That is a matter of your choice. And that is a matter of the tools that you apply to really get over that, because the ego loves to be sad. The ego loves to suffer. And even the spiritual ego, many people in personal development, they use tools for personal development to stay there as long as possible with the excuse that I'm just living the process. I'm doing okay, whatever.
Can you talk more about that? How spirituality can be a mask of the ego?
Oh, totally. I call it the spiritual ego, when we use tools to judge other people because they're not awakened enough, because they're not as conscious enough. When we're using tools to stay unconscious as in honor of our process, because we're processing, I'm honoring my space, all of those nice things that we say just to feed the spiritual ego is very dangerous when we have tools in personal growth, because the ego gets more clever. And it's easy for us to believe the nonsense of the ego that now is speaking in spiritual terms. That's why it's important to have people around us that won't take our caca, right? And not they won't put perfume on top of caca, but the ones that will say, no, you know what? You're full of it. Get off it. Boom. Let's do it. Clean it up. Let's move forward. I prefer that. I want that in my life, instead of everybody woo-woo together, holding hands, and everybody full of it. No, forget it.
Yeah. I've been through enough seminars to see that happening over and over again. And I think this is the trick of the ego. The more evolved you are, the more spiritual you are, it will sneak up on you. It will take the back door, and it will use the thing that you're proud of the most, like spirituality, and manifest unpleasant things through that. Wayne Dyer was telling a story about, I think it was Wayne Dyer, about people coming to a lecture that he did in a church, and everybody were wearing white and looking very spiritual. And on the step of this church, there was a homeless person lying down. And all those spiritual people, as they were entering the church, were stepping over him.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's an oxymoron. One hand, you're so spiritual, and the other hand, you step over a homeless person as you enter your place of worship.
Exactly. So that's why we have to be very aware, very present, that more tools we have, the ego, more tools will have also to stay in place. And then we become, now we have a new label, the label of a spiritual person, right? And it's easy, especially when we make changes that we know can help us. They can be the same reasons to judge other people that they're not living it, that they're not doing it. Like, for example, for me, I remember when I became vegan, I did it for compassion, for my health, for the animals, for the world. It's great. But then my ego used it in the beginning to judge other people why they weren't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is so much of that. Or people that have a religion, my religion is better than yours. Or people that, are single versus the one that are married. People have their kids. People that don't have kids, women, today, we celebrate International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you should be a mother.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, congratulations, love. So some women will be like, oh, you should be a mom. Oh, no, to be independent, you cannot be a mom. Well, why? If you want to be a real woman, you have to be independent. Why? All of these labels and definition of how we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to live our life in order to be X, Y, and Z. All of that is nonsense of our ego.
Right. What is being a woman means to you?
For me, just being who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Just being fully who we choose to be. Like a woman it's a gift of God. We are a blessing for this world, as the same as men are a blessing for this world. We're equally important, not because, I want to be effeminate and be equal. No, it's just because we are.
Mm-hmm.
There is no need for us to fight to be equal because we already are. I think that the women just have to realize that themselves and just be themselves. Be fully us with the beauty of our feminine side, the darkness of our masculine side that sometimes wants to control the men of this planet and for them to do whatever we want and accept that sometimes we go crazy in our ego like that and just fully honor who we are. We are a blessing. That's who we are. We're a blessing for this world.
It's beautiful. How do we get over I'm not enough? I can never be enough. I can never reach the places that I want to reach, or who am I to want my dreams?
Yes. Well, first of all, to recognize that you will never get over that in your mind. For your ego, you will never be enough. Period. Don't try to convince your ego that you're enough, okay? For my ego, I'm never enough. For my ego, I'm not enough coach. I'm not enough speaker. I'm not enough woman. I'm not enough whatever. I'm never enough for my ego. So for many years, I tried to change that. I tried to convince my ego, and the only thing gets stronger. And that's what happened. Many people go to personal development seminars trying to change their ego. Now I become more confident. Now I'm going to love myself. And then they get off of a 1 week retreat happy, and then the next day they're feeling like poo-poo, because the ego again is like, well, 1 week, and so what? You're worthless. You're this, and then they feel bad. I just paid $10,000 for a retreat in the mountains of the Himalaya, whatever, and then what's going on? Why am I still having these thoughts? I'm supposed to be a new person. Look, your ego will never change. If anything, it's gonna get stronger. And more things you do, your ego is going to give more reasons why you're not enough. Just let it be. Let your ego be insecure. Let your ego be feeling not enough. Let your ego be arrogant, controlling. Whatever your ego is, let it be the way it is. And once you accept that that's how your ego is, and then you can really choose who you really are. In your essence, you're already it. In your essence, you're already enough. Why? Because you're God, and God is everything. And God is enough. In your essence, you're already happy. You don't need to make yourself happy. You're already happy in your essence. Once you accept that that's how your ego is, and that's not who you really are, who you are is what you already have, the happiness within you, the beauty within you, the health within you, And then you don't have to get anywhere. You just choose to realize that you're already there.
Let's talk about Carmen. Who is she?
Carmen is the name of my ego. Just wonderful. For many years, he was the one who run my life. Until the moment I discovered her. I discovered that I had my ego, and then I channel the tool to name my ego. I didn't really learn that in a seminar. I was having a conversation with God. I have conversations with God. Hey, God, so, what's going on? Like, okay, why do we have a crazy ego? What is the point of having an ego? I asked one time, and God replied to me, well, because once you recognize that you're not your ego, and then you can remember who you really are. Every time you recognize who you're not, you can remember who you are. And then he said, well, you can also name your ego, like find a way to have a relationship with your ego, because I always learned that you have to reject your ego, block your ego, kill your ego, all of that.
Destroy it. Bomb it.
Exactly. So I said, okay, so let's channel what is the name of the ego. I closed my eyes and I asked God, what is the name of my ego? And he said, Carmen. And then Carmen arrived like, ta-da! I'm like, oh, hello, Carmen. Carmen is the one who loves the lights, the attention, the red carpet, and it's all about her. She's controlling. She's always right. So now, instead of rejecting Carmen, I use her for good. So when I go to the red carpet, when I go in Hollywood and the Grammys and I take pictures, I know it's Carmen in her full bloom, and I let her be. I let her be in front of cameras. I let her be. But now I'm not driven by Carmen. I'm using her to open the door for other people. So now when I go to Hollywood, instead of being there just because, hey, look at me, I'm here on the red carpet, I'm there to share a message. I'm there to coach influential celebrities. I'm there to bring consciousness while Carmen is having fun taking pictures. So everybody wins.
That's beautiful. So many celebrities have an alter ego. So it will help them when they go on stage. Because in order to be on stage and be in front of thousands and thousands of people and being so exposed and in their pure expression, their pure sexual expression, they have to be somebody else. They have to separate themselves from that part of them so they can really play full out.
Exactly. Well, we know, for example, Beyonce, right? Her ego name is Sacha. So when she go on stage, is Sacha the one doing the show? That's why she does such a freaking great job, right? Because she fully owns Sacha. She doesn't feel bad that Sacha is sexual or sensual and feminine and boom and all that and the queen bee and queen is, she doesn't feel guilty that she feels she's the best of the world. That's what she is, right? That's why she's fully there. And that's what most people don't understand, that we don't have to reject our ego. Let's honor the ego and let's be present that that's not who we are, that's a part of it that we can choose to have fun, to drive, to thrive, to be the best in what we're doing without losing the presence of the gift of who we really are. That's how we can have fun. That's why I don't reject, the abundance. I don't reject luxury. It doesn't make us less or more spiritual if we are meditating in a Ferrari versus meditating in a cave. It doesn't give us any, there is no difference.
That's such a cool visual.
Yes, exactly. So it's just, let's have fun with whatever experience we're having in this beautiful illusion of ego, and choose every illusion as a way to evolve and to serve. That way we become less attached to things, less attached to people, and more aware and more free. It's like, oh my God, so many people, they go into the spiritual path and they become serious. Now they don't laugh. Oh, for God's sake, you loosen up. The fact that you're spiritual, you don't have to be boring. It's being a spiritual means honoring your inner child, being playful, being who you are in every form, every way. That is the key.
Yeah, I love that. It seems like what you're doing, that's my hallucination, is that there is a separation of you and Carmen.
Yes.
And there is also an integration of you and Carmen. Because when you're on the red carpet, you let Carmen play while you still have the intention of helping, coaching, giving, sharing. How do you integrate her into your life? How do you channel that personality for good?
It's great because I'm aware that she has a role to help me evolve. Carmen is no longer my enemy. See, my ego is no longer my enemy because I have a fully accept Carmen. I can choose to see whatever she needs to be in place in order for me to do something. So I know that when I'm going to cameras, when I'm going to do a photo shoot, I'm going to be in the cover of a magazine, all of that, she's there. She's there and she's happy because she now has a place in my life. She's not crying for attention, and she let me be when I'm in essence, when I am doing coaching or training. Now she doesn't come because she has fully a place in my life. Because I have given her a place in my life, she has enough food. So I give her that when I'm meeting someone, I'm single, I'm open to love. So I know that she plays there. She's the feminine. She likes to, like the attention of the gentleman who is pursuing me. So I let her be, and Carmen has a piece of her that I call, Vanessa, which is the other, like the feminine essence of me. Mm-hmm. And she's fully playing. She's there. Sometimes when there is something important, when there is something new, in my life, or there is someone who I really care about, sometimes she comes in unexpected and uninvited, right? Because she's still Carmen. So she will do that. Ego will still come unexpectedly, especially when we are experiencing something new or something that really matters to us. Mm. So at that moment, instead of like being mad at her, like, hey, what are you doing here? You have a place. I already did a photo shoot yesterday. Why are you here today? All of that. Instead of being mad, I'm like, oh, thank you, love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reminding me that this is important. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for reminding me. That's what I said. Thank you for reminding me that I am present, that I am loved, that I am abundant. So when she comes unexpectedly to say something, unexpected, to say something negative or anything, I just receive it with compassion. And I honor her as a reminder of who I really am. That's the relationship I have with her now.
Wow. What are your daily practices to create that awareness in your life?
Well, the number one practice is one that we heard a lot, and I think that for me is the key, is gratitude. When I get up, I'm present of everything that is a blessing in my life. Sometimes I will go over the list. Sometimes I will just have the experience of being grateful. I'm always present of that. I'm like, wow, what a blessing in my life. I have my kids today. I'm strong. I have health. I'm grateful for my challenges too. When I have challenges that are difficult in my life, I'm like, okay, God, I'm present of the gift that I know is there. I don't see it with my eyes, but I know it's coming. I'm grateful for the challenge. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for what you're teaching me. So gratitude for me is essential. It's like breathing. It's like oxygen. If I'm feeling low, is that I forgot to be grateful for something. So that's one, I say the gratitude is the antidote to depression. So when I'm feeling low in any way, I always go back to gratitude. And then the second is purpose, living my purpose in every single way that I can. Sometimes that means doing coaching, seminars. Sometimes that means cleaning my own poo-poo, doing auto-coaching to me, being present when I'm not being congruent. Sometimes that means being present with my kids with my phone off to the side, because that means that I'm being fully present. So what I'm doing is I create in my life every day represents that I'm living my purpose. I'm doing this for my purpose. So everything that I do or I don't do will support my evolution and my purpose. Those two things allow me to have high vibration no matter what I do. And of course, just having fun and celebrate. And I do take care of my body, my dear. I exercise at least 5 times a week. I dance Zumba or I do any other type of exercise.
I saw your Zumba video on Facebook. You're pretty good. You're very good. I used to be a Zumba instructor in a previous life.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, maybe about, 12 years ago, I studied how to be an instructor and I taught a few classes.
Oh, that's so nice. I love dancing. Just this
Oh,
is
I love
very
dancing.
yes, right?
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
high energy. So I do take care of my body. As a vegan, I take care of my health. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. So I also take time to nurture my body as my temple. And I really see the difference. I really see the difference in the energy that I have every day, thanks to taking care of my body as well.
Yeah, taking care of your body is a spiritual practice for sure.
Yes, 100%.
If you want to be there present and powerful for yourself and others, you cannot neglect your body. That's the vessel that you live your life in.
Exactly. That's how it is for me. And, I always look into the most important areas, like spirituality, health, relationships, and financials, like money. And then every day I'm doing something to improve those areas, okay, what if I have any financial challenges, or if I have any health challenge with my energy, or maybe it's in relationships with either men or my team members or my family. So I'm always looking to every area of my life being a reflection of my purpose. And there is not a day that I say, well, this is only happening here, but the world doesn't need to know. No, it's like, okay, this is here. Let me expose. Let me bring it to the surface. Let me clean this up.
Clean it up.
Yeah, and then move forward. I have a practice also that to have a sheet of paper in my life that is always blank when I ask the question, if I will die today, what will be something that I didn't do that, I have to do before I die? So I always look, and if I have something in the sheet of paper, like calling someone, cleaning something, I'll do it right away. And I keep I keep it clean. I keep it blank, that paper. That's something that I also do to make sure that I'm playing in my fullest.
Powerful. Last time I saw you speak, you said that 1% of the population are living their purpose.
Yes.
Can you speak a bit about that?
Yes. So through the years in history, it's scientific disproven, and just the experience of the results in the world have shown that only 1% of us we're really living our purpose. What we mean by that, how we measure that, is that we are doing what we love. That doesn't mean that we're not just doing a job that we have to do for money. That means that we're doing what we love, and that we're using that to serve other people. That we're using that gift that we have to help to contribute to the planet, to the evolution of the planet. That means that I'm not doing this just because I want more money, because I want to look good, because I want to be successful, but because I care about leaving a legacy. Only 1% of people do this, that they really care about leaving a legacy. And there is a formula that says that when that 1% becomes 3%, we just need a 3% of us living our purpose, we will be able to influence the rest of the planet to awaken. So,
Wow.
that's a formula that I play for. I play for that. I play for bringing more and more people to the 3%, to the 1%, so we can become the 1%. That's why I coach other coaches. That's why I create certification program for coaches. That's why, the leaders that we coach are the ones that have access to the masses, because I understand that that's the fastest way to do it. It's not everyone's calling to work with high profile leaders or influential coaches, because they also have a very strong ego. But because I have Carmen, who I believe is the strongest one of all, so I can work with anyone ego. So I'm like, bring it on. I'm ready for you.
Wow. So leaders, coaches, they probably study a lot. They probably are
Mm-hmm.
pretty evolved in their understanding of spirituality. What are their challenges?
See, for this is because they have studied so much, because they have been in personal growth so much, they become unconscious to their spiritual ego. So the first thing that I do is to really bring them awareness of how different their ego is of the person who maybe haven't studied, haven't done seminars, or hasn't been a coach. But they understand that we are also being unconscious when we get lost in our spiritual ego. So that is the first work that I do with them. And also facilitating the space for them to channel their own message. See, many coaches, many speakers, what they do is they just repeat what they read, they repeat what they study, and they become, like an echo, someone who is repeating what is being said. So I train coaches and speakers to channel their own message, to go to their pure essence and understand that there is a pure, unique tool within each and every one of them. And that if they're willing to get out of the mindset of I have to fit like other coaches, I have to be part of the group that teach this or that, and then they can have access to the real message, to what makes them unique. That is very confronting for the ego, because the ego wants to fit in. The ego wants to be loved and accepted. And when you are being yourself, that means that many people won't like you. But also that means that the people that are ready for you will recognize you and they will work with you. Like my clients, when they work with me, they say, Karen, I don't know what it was. Like God spoke to me and say, she's your coach. There was something about you, because sometimes they don't see it in the outside, because when they see myself, it's like I'm fashion, very Latina, very boobylicious. It's not like
boobylicious. I love
yes,
it.
it's not like she's a spiritual master I was looking for. No, I never had that experience. Because
Really, I don't understand why you're not wearing a big robe and I don't know, no
exactly,
makeup,
right?
and let your hair go because you're a spiritual being.
Exactly. And that's like a lot of people have that idea of how the prototype of how the person has the profile of the person that is spiritual. So the people that work with me, they look beyond that and they have a sense of knowingness that what I have to offer is exactly what they're looking for. So that means that a lot of people don't like me for the same reason, because either I'm too fashionable, I'm too loud, I smile too much, or whatever. So being yourself means that the right people that are ready for your message will come to you, recognize you, will work with you, will pay you, will support you, will grow with you. And that also means that a lot of people won't understand you, won't like you, will reject you for the same reasons that the other people will. So part of my work with these coaches and speakers is to be able to allow them to recognize who they really are for the world and honor every piece of it, what makes them unique, the combination of the experiences, how they can package all of that together to serve the world and beyond the expectations of being loved and liked by everyone. That way they can truly leave a legacy on this planet.
I love this conversation. I am in this conversation in the last 3 days. It just shows up from so many directions. And I was just, I was, for the last couple of days, I'm just like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm sharing. It's all about being seen. Because when I arrived to the US with my dream of becoming a big Hollywood actress, I went to an acting school. And I lived in Japan for a few years. And in Japan, I used to dress up very nicely and very uniquely. It was really, really cool style. And I came here to and was in the acting school, and I was so different. I looked different. I sound different. I wasn't like the cultural communication was not there because I came from two completely different cultures where like the Israeli, which is it's more like a Latino culture where it's very loud and expressive and passionate. And then Japan, which is very, very conservative and respectful, and you kind of like keep your energy close to you. Can't even explain it. It's like your energy field shrinks.
Yes.
You're not expressing yourself. So coming from those two cultures into that third one, I really tried to fit in. I really tried to put myself in that box. I started dressing down. I worked on my accent a lot. I tried to do everything to be like everybody else, and I was always different. But I shrunk myself so much that I forgot who I was. I forgot who is Orion. What is her true expression? How does she like to be seen? What are her gifts that are different from others? I think it's taken me so long up until now that I'm still discovering who I am. I'm still discovering my full expression, and I'm still discovering the courage of allowing myself to be seen just the way I am, because like you said, the people that will gravitate to me are the people that want what I have. They don't want anybody else. They want Orion.
Mhm.
But it's such an interesting, especially when you go to seminars and you see those leaders and you're influenced, you see somebody on stage and you want to be like them.
Yep.
It's hard to make that. It's not hard. Hard is a it's not the right word. It's just that
It's challenging.
it's challenging. Yes, it's challenging because you're like, then all that, the ego part of like, who am I? How can I be more like them? Because they are picture perfect there on stage. They are picture perfect there on Instagram.
Mhm.
They are picture
Mhm.
perfect there on Facebook. How can I be more like them? And we forgot how to, just turn it inward and think about how can I make it more like me? How can I be more like me?
Exactly. And that is the danger of personal growth when we're not fully present, that we're not there to fix ourselves. I because I did so many seminars, I invest so much in my personal growth as well. I saw that a lot. People going to seminar trying to fix who they are, like if there's something broken.
Mm.
And when we understand that there is nothing to be fixed about us, that the true personal spiritual growth is when we go back to who we really are. It's like we don't have to become somebody else. It's like you just have to become you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is my work. Like I know I'm successful as a coach when I bring my client to who they really are, acceptance of who they really are, and then they can use every experience that they had. They can use every craziness they have, every conscious, unconscious, light, darkness they have, every fully part of them, like full every part of them, like the whole package of them, and then use that to live their purpose. And they put a business on that. They put a name on that, a business on that, and then can also create financial abundance with that full package of it. That is the only reason that a coach and a speaker will be truly successful,
Mm-hmm.
and then will sustain the results. People ask me, Karen, you have been in business for 10 years. How you do it? And I say, well, I just discover more and more of who I am every time. And then I do a seminar on that.
That's
A
perfect.
coaching on that. And that's it. And that's it. And then people pay me for that. It's great. I love it.
Wow, amazing. Um, so money and spirituality. I know you struggled with money in the past and you had an idea of separation between money and spirituality.
Yes, definitely. So in the beginning, when I started doing this, I thought that if I do good, if I live my purpose, if I help enough people, I will have money, because that's what I learned in my seminars, right? When I went to participate in the seminars, says more you give, more you have, more people you help, more money you will have. I'm like, okay,
This is gonna
I'm helping a lot
happen
of
just like
people.
that. Yay.
Exactly. I'm helping a lot of people. I must be rich. But no, the first 4 years of my career as a coach, people actually, my graduates were like doubling their income, tripling their income, and I was going broke more and more. And I was like, what is going on? I don't understand why, if I'm supposed to like give and then receive, I'm on just giving, and nothing is coming back in the form of money. Like I was getting a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of love, all of that. I was,
Affirmation, satisfaction. Thank you,
yes,
Karen. You're amazing. Thank you. You
excellent,
changed my
yes,
life.
yes. And I was like, oh, that feels great. That was fantastic, but no money, like no money. I was like, I would like money too, like thank you. And here there is,
Can we have a fair exchange, please?
so I was like, what's going on? What is it within me that is rejecting money? Because I knew it was my responsibility. I knew it
Yes.
was part of me that wasn't welcoming money. Because I knew in essence that I deserve it. I knew in essence that I was capable. I knew in essence that it was right for me to have money. I had the concept of abundance in my head. I did a lot of, programming about money, all of these, but it was all mental, all in the level of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
There was not a spiritual relationship with money. When I met my mentor, Gary Salvit, who's not a speaker, he's not a coach, he's someone who is deeply spiritual, he's a multimillionaire. So he was the first person that I met who was very successful in business and deeply spiritual. I never met someone like that before, never. It was like two different things, right? Like at least have it close to talk to him. I always see people that were deeply spiritual, but they were totally disconnected from like the material things, or the people that were material, like they had money, but they were not spiritual. Even in the seminars I went, I had two kind of seminars: the spiritual retreats, with my guides, and the spiritual, like the meditation teachers, the shamans, all of that. They had no money. Like they live on donations, and they were like, okay, no material stuff. And then I went to the more neuro-linguistic programming seminars, more the Tony Robbins, all of this. It was great, but it was very mental, very mental driven. And I never felt I fit fully in either of them.
There was no bridge between the two.
Yeah, there was not in between. There was not together. I was either too spiritual in the mental seminars and too mental in the spiritual seminars. I was like too fashionable for that one. So it was like, I don't fit. Like, what's going on? So for me, I talked to God and said, God, show me, where do I learn this? And I realized that there was no place where I learned it, because I had to create it. That was part of it was part of my message, to share that with the world and to learn it first. So I realized that through the coaching and the guidance of my mentor, that I didn't see God in money. Like for me, God was love, was beautiful, was contribution, all of that.
Nobody says God is money.
Yeah.
People say money is God, but not God is money.
God is money. Like, it's bad. Even bad to say that. It's like, oh my God, that's dirty. Like, wow.
Money is God, you Wall Street scum.
Exactly. So like I didn't see it there. And I realized that, wow, if I wasn't seeing God in everything, I didn't see it at all. And that was my awakening. Like I started learning through tools that I developed how to clean up my spiritual relationship with God through money. It was, oh my God, eye-opening for me. It was a revolution for me. And I transformed totally my spiritual relationship with God and money. And that's how I made my first $1 million in 6 months. I never made that much money in my life. Never. It was so easy. It came flow so as a river. And it was like, wow, it's really easy to do this. And then I learned also not only to create abundance, but also to sustain that. And then I went to the stage of, okay, making money is easy for me, but then now I don't see it. It comes and then it goes. And then, okay, where is it going?
That was the next evolution.
Exactly. So, and then I learned that I wasn't honoring like the spiritual laws of money. And then I developed those laws, started practicing those laws in my life. And this is what I teach in my seminars, in my coaching, and our certification programs. And then I started really using them, and not only bringing money in, sustaining the money, but also build more, create more money with that abundance. And that only happens when you help other people to create wealth. So that only happens when you're not only creating wealth for you, but you're facilitating creating wealth for other people. And that's what I do today. So the concept of money is not just in the mind level, it's in the spiritual level. And I bring this to my seminar, to my retreats, and I teach it. And I teach it to people that even have already money. For example, I have one of my clients who she built her company from like $5 million to $100 million.
Wow.
And like in 5 years. But that wasn't her purpose. That was something else. And then when she started living her purpose as a coach, she couldn't sell one seminar. So she came to me and said, okay, Karen, what happened? I know how to make money. I did it for my company that has nothing to do with my purpose. And now when I really want to do this, I cannot make any money. So that's when I came and also teach her and coach her into finding the roots of what was between her spiritual relationship with money and her purpose. What was it that allowed her to make money with something that is not in her purpose versus her purpose? So with them, I do another type of cleaning. So those are tools that I use a lot in my coaching these days, because many coaches, especially and speakers, they come to me with that issue. They come to me with that challenge of like, okay, I can make money, but I don't see it. Or I'm doing a great speech. I'm a great coach, but I make no money. And we have a lot of that. There's a lot of people that have great content, great certifications. They have all the credentials, but they have no money that will actually support and confirm the value of what they're bringing. And that is a big part of what I teach today.
Mm-hmm. So, Karen, I want to be respectful of your time. here. Before we leave, 3 quick steps to living a stellar life, and how can people find you?
Beautiful. Thank you, my love, for the invitation again. And here we go. So the first step, always be present of the perfection of what you're living. Don't reject what's so. Honor it. Boom, something happened. The roof fall down. Oh, what a gift. Let's see what is the gift behind this. The roof fall down. Here in front of me, there is a lesson. There is a blessing that God is providing through this challenge. So just honor what's so. You receive what's so as a perfect plan. Number 2, live your purpose no matter what your ego says. For your ego, you're never ready. You're never enough to be a coach. You're never enough to be a teacher. You're never enough, never enough, never enough. Remember, it's okay not to be enough. For your ego, do it anyways. Find people and find tools that will allow you to confirm the value of who you are, which is number 3. Learn. Coach with people that have what you want to have. Learn from those people that have and are what you want to be. And at the same time, remember that they're not you in the outside. They're you in essence, but you're not supposed to be a copy of them. You're supposed to just learn from their experience, their tools, and apply them to your own experience, to your own way. Allow yourself to find the unique gift that you have that is different. So one day you can be the one teaching others that are lost in darkness. Those 3 will be definitely important to apply. And once we do it, we'll see that, remember, happiness is just a choice. There is nothing that will make us happy. I won't make you happy. Nothing will make you happy. To just choose to be happy while you're learning and evolving in this wonderful illusion of Maya on this planet. Let's connect. Let's support each other. Let's celebrate each other's differences. Let's bless all those people who have what we want. And also, let's dare to share our greatness and not be afraid to contribute. What you have makes a difference, so share it. That definitely will change somebody's life, and it can save someone's life. You can save someone's life by sharing what you have. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it. It's not yours. It's for you to share, my dear. So those will be my contribution. And for people to find me, easy, KarenHoyos.com, KarenHoyos, KarenHoyos.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Karen Hoyos. And for all of you who want to connect with me in Karen Hoyos International, which is also my page, you will find a free gift. I have a webinar that I have online in my page that you guys can receive great stuff live. And there is so much information, great goodies. I'm there for you guys. I'm so looking forward to supporting you, to serving you. Reach out. I'm there for you. I love you. Orion, I love you too.
I love you very much.
Yes.
I know that nobody can make me happy, but you make me happy.
I added happy. You're already happy life. I contribute to that happiness. My pleasure. I love you so much.
Thank you, love. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on living your purpose. I'm so proud of you doing this, following your calling. You are amazing. Congratulations on your wedding. You inspire me. What you guys have manifested, I am manifesting it for myself too. So when I see you guys as a couple, I'm like, yes, that is coming for me too. So thank you for being an inspiration for me as well, my love.
Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for everything. Thank you for joining me on my mission to light people up and change lives around the world. I hope today's conversation inspires you to step up, go after the life of your dreams, and be who you want to be. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to stellarlifepodcast.com for show notes, transcripts, and other cool stuff. And please subscribe, review, and help spread the word by sharing us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the next episode.